Dude, let's get that graphic back up. Let's go through Oklahoma. Like I said, they're going all the way. I'm not sure if it's to the short bus or the long bus, but they're going all the way there. I'm joking. That was a really bad joke. Okay, Temple. That's a win. We're starting it out. Oklahoma's got a lot of new pieces, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out. They do have a little bit of a test against Houston. Now, let's be honest. Houston, I just believe, moved into the what
Big
conference
12.
they moved into? Big 12. That's what I thought. So you can't look at them as a group of 5 school anymore. But that's not going to matter. Oklahoma's going to get the win there. Let's see. Tulane, that second week in September. I think they get the win there as well. Oklahoma, I think, is going to have a great start to their season, unfortunately. We play them pretty early. They play Tennessee. We go to Oklahoma. This is a BVS thing. Yes, just go ahead and put it up there because I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain this. Yes, I know. I just predicted that we lost to Oklahoma. But look, we lose on the road to a team that by the end of the year, we're going to look back and say, how did we lose that game? And this is where I'm predicting it's going to happen. I think Oklahoma is going to beat Tennessee. I think they're going to beat Auburn at Auburn. And I think Oklahoma could be sitting top 10 in the nation, probably close to top 5 at that point, but probably just top 10. And then they got that bye week. And then this is where I don't think their season continues to go as well. I think they lose to Texas. I after last year and whatnot, I just think Texas is going to beat Oklahoma. I think they do pick up a win against South Carolina. And then I think they lose to Ole Miss. At Ole Miss, I think Ole Miss is just going to be a really good team. And this is where I think that you're really going to start seeing the downfall for Oklahoma. And this, as a Tennessee fan, is where it's going to get really frustrating because it's like, once again, like the Florida game last year. You look back at the season, you look back at where Oklahoma is going to finish, and it's like, how did we lose that team? But it's just one of those things, and you have to understand where I'm coming from. You have to understand where I'm coming from. We do not play good on the road. It's almost all but guaranteed that game in Norman is going to be a night game. If not, it's going to be a late afternoon game. But they lose to Ole Miss. I think they do pick up the win at Maine, but that's going to be their last win of the season, as I do think they should beat Missouri, but it's at Missouri. I don't think they get it done. So I think they lose to Missouri. They will lose to Alabama and then lose to LSU. Again, 7-5, and Tennessee looks back at the season and says, how did we lose that Oklahoma team? I don't know. Oklahoma's not got an easy schedule. I do kind of want to say that. I do think it's workable. It's manageable. And they're going to need some things to go their way, like that Tennessee game, like a Missouri game and an LSU game. But they get Missouri and LSU on the road. I think that kind of works against them just a little bit. But overall, got them going 7-5. I do have us losing to Oklahoma. I'm not really happy about that, but I'm just being real here. I'm being real here, so don't be too hard on me in the comments.
Yeah, so that Oklahoma game, it is a flex game, so it'll either be afternoon or night. I'm kind of with you. I think it'll be a night game. You've got Justin has got them beaten. LSU.
Justin never agrees with me, dude. It's such a rare occasion. Justin, we appreciate you tuning in, brother. But Big Orange says, I think in a 3-game series, we'd have gotten at least one. What is he talking about? Oh, hang on. Do y'all think this year's baseball team could have beat the Smokies? I think he means Smokies because I think he sees the Smokies hat back there. I don't know, man. That's super hypothetical. I really don't. Woodswater Mizzou, he joins in and say, hey, he always calls me out, dog. All right. What letter is after Y in the alphabet? My Missouri education has me stumped. Sounds like you're just stumped, brother. That's unfortunate. Maybe you should come to Tennessee. They got some really good education, brother. That's unfortunate.
All right, but what do you have as the ceiling and floor for this?
Yes, thank you. So I think the ceiling for Oklahoma, I think they could pick up a win against Missouri and LSU, and I think they could go 9-3. I think would be their ceiling. I don't really know, and that's with them beating Tennessee. But as far as a floor, I could see Oklahoma really, I mean, if things really hit the floor for them, if the quarterback doesn't work out, I could really see them going as low as a 6-6. I don't think they're worse than 6-6. I mean, I wanted to say 5-7 there for a second, but I really don't think Oklahoma misses a bowl game. If they do, media is going to have a heyday with Oklahoma in their first year in the SEC.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go ahead and clear this out, and I'm going to give my predictions on it. And you mentioned it. This is not an easy schedule. It's not as brutal as Florida's, but this is not an easy schedule whatsoever. You do start off should get a pretty easy win against Temple to begin the season, but Houston is not going to be easy. They're a decent team, like you said, first year or this might be second year in the Big 12. I think they actually came in last year.
I think they came in last year. You're right.
Yeah, but I could be wrong on that. I do think Oklahoma, from a talent standpoint, is a little bit better. So, and they do get the game at home. So I've got Oklahoma winning this one. Then you draw Tulane, one of the better group of 5 programs over the last few years. Alex, we appreciate you tuning in, man. He says GBO.
Dang right, dude.
But you draw Tulane, you do get them at home. One of the better group of 5 programs in the last few years. So it's not going to be easy. We saw Ole Miss
took their best receiver.
We did.
Sorry.
We did.
Yeah,
Ole Miss struggled with them last year. But I think it's also a different Tulane team, so Oklahoma wins that one.
Hold up. This guy, even though he gives me a lot of crap, brought up a pretty good point here about Oklahoma.
Yes.
All new offensive line, because their offensive line last year was not the greatest. I know they did pretty decent as far as record-wise, but their offensive line was trash. Brand new quarterback, not a schedule for success in the SEC. Maybe not, but then again, what are we going off of? Just the fact that they're inexperienced? Because I can't say something like that and then have optimism for our defense, because literally everybody in our secondary is pretty much new. So, I mean, we just don't know. I mean, we'll see, right? I mean, but I think I agree with him. First year, they've got some tough road games. You're going at LSU at the end of the year, at Ole Miss, at Auburn. You do get Alabama and Tennessee at home. I think that's going to help them a lot. But, yeah, I think he's absolutely right.
And I'm glad he brought that up, because and Justin, I'm glad you brought this up too, because I was just
the chat box is fire right now, dude.
Yes, I was just about to hit this. This is the reason why I have Tennessee winning on the road at Oklahoma.
See, that's a partner right there picking me up. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about.
First off, you've got the storyline of Heupel going back to Oklahoma the first time he's been back there as a head coach. Then you've got Brent Venables with a new offensive coordinator. How much of that offensive success that Oklahoma had last year was due to Jeff Lebby and to Dylan Gabriel, who transferred out to Oklahoma? How much of that success was because of them?
Transferred out to Oregon, but yes. You said transfer out to Oklahoma, but I knew exactly what you meant.
Sorry,
You're good.
Oregon.
You're good.
Thank you for that. So how much success is Jackson Arnold going to have this year? How much success is the new offensive coordinator, I don't know his name off the top of my head, going to have out at Oklahoma this year? What is that new look offensive line going to look like? And I think that at the beginning of the season here, Oklahoma is still going to be figuring some things out, which is why I have Tennessee winning this game. I do think they go to Auburn. They get a win against Auburn and Jordan Hare. Not going to be easy, but they're going to get a win. You do have the bye week before you play Texas at the Cotton Bowl. Unfortunately, I do think that Oklahoma is going to drop this game. I think
Texas got so much revenge on this one, right? Like that's the only thing I could think of. And Texas is a really solid team.
Yeah, and has Texas not been in the lead, like a big lead, for the last 2 years and lost both of them?
Maybe
I know they did last year.
There was 1 year they got just curb stomped, but yeah.
But I've got Texas winning this game. You do beat South Carolina at home. You're sitting at 5-2 on the year before you travel to Ole Miss. And I've got them losing to Ole Miss this year. You do pick up a win against Maine to get bowl eligible, but then just like Skylar said, you're going to drop these last 3 games at Missouri. If that game was at home,
Justin, by the way, is a Longhorn fan, so he would know.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. I thought it was the last 2 years, but I wasn't 100% sure.
That's unfortunate.
So this Missouri game, I think if it was at Oklahoma, a little bit of a toss-up. But
I believe that's a rivalry game, is it not? Oklahoma, Missouri? Or am I confusing the two? I thought back when Missouri was in the Big 12.
I think it is a little bit of a rivalry game. If Skeeter's still here, I'm sure he'll tell us in the comments. Alabama, even though it's not Nick Saban, Alabama is going to beat Oklahoma even on the road. I just see two programs in different spots at this point in the season, and LSU. I've got a feeling this game is going to be an afternoon or a night game, and especially in the first year for Oklahoma, you're not going into Death Valley and getting a win because there's storied SEC programs that don't even do that for a night game. Now,
Tennessee was only able to do it in my mind because they played at noon. I mean, unless you draw that game at noon. Yeah, unless you draw that game at noon, I don't think there's – I mean, they've got a really good night game, home field advantage at night. It's insane. So,
yeah,
now, I agree with you. I'm kind of glad that we both kind of thought the last 3 games there. I mean, I just think that's a tough stretch. That may be one of the tougher stretches in all the SEC, and honestly. And I know that's not Georgia and it's not Texas in the last 3 games, but still, I mean, that's about as tough as you could ask without it being Georgia or Texas in that 3-game stretch. They do get the bye week before Alabama, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. So for my floor for Oklahoma this year, I think I'm gonna go 5-7.
All right. No, Woodswater Mizzou is actually a really good friend of ours, but yes, he's a joker.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I will say, I think that now that Missouri has had success, I think Eli doesn't have some of those joker qualities like he once did. I think he's finally mellowed out just a little bit. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. So I only played them over 90 times, but they own the rivalry in 2/3 of the matchups.
Yeah, he's confirming the fact that yes, I believe that. Yeah, so they got some blood in the water. Missouri wants some juice. I mean, Tennessee's going to want the smoke too as well. I mean, that 2016 loss hurt.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. But yeah, I've got the floor 5-7. I can see a loss.
So you do see him. Okay, you do see them missing a bowl game. I got you.
Yeah, I can see a loss at Auburn.
Okay.
But I think you do get wins against Temple, Houston, Tulane, South Carolina, and Maine. As far as
if they lost to Auburn, that would have them 1-7?
Yeah, 1-7
in the SEC.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be wild if it did.
Now, listen to my ceiling. You're going to call me crazy. Come on now, Skeeter.
Hey, no, Skeeter stands on business with 7 toes, brother. That's what he does.
Hey, you're not wrong. You're not wrong on that.
No, but what's your ceiling, man? Kind of elaborate on that.
11-1.
There you go. Yeah, you had to be generous, right? After saying they could miss a I got you.
No, but look, all right. I think
is it Texas or is it Alabama, Ole Miss? Like, who's that one loss? Is just you just see as a guaranteed.
I think it's LSU.
Tennessee. Okay.
I think it's LSU. Tennessee, I think absolutely that's a toss-up game. Like I mentioned, the reason I give Tennessee the win is I don't know where Oklahoma is going to be at that point in the season. They might be still figuring some things out, especially in the offensive side of the ball. Now, their defense is going to be good. They've returned almost everybody on defense. But that Texas game, we saw it last year. Texas was the better team, but Oklahoma ended up pulling out that game. Anything can happen in that rivalry game.
Okay.
Ole Miss. I think that I think Oklahoma has got enough talent. They can pull out a game against Ole Miss. Missouri, another little rivalry game there. I think absolutely they can win that game. Alabama, you get to play them at home. I think Alabama has got more talent, but I think
Alabama's got a lot of talent, but that guy that's leading the room, we just don't know how he's going to be able to do it in the SEC yet.
Exactly.
So,
like I said earlier, I think LSU is a loss regardless, especially if it is a night game.
Yeah. Just
because of the environment, and I think the LSU is going to have a good season.
Big Orange, I'm going to get back to you. It's kind of off topic right now, but Justin kind of says he alludes to the point. Like, you can't count them out against Texas either because even Oklahoma's bad games against Texas, they find a way. And I don't know how they find a way. I think it's more that Texas kind of lets it slip. But Oklahoma finds a way against Texas. And I think that's why I would never say Texas is a guaranteed win over Oklahoma just because of that rivalry and how that whole, day that they do, that celebration. And is it in Dallas, Fort Worth? I feel like they go kind of crazy with that game.
It's at the Cotton Bowl. You got the fair going on.
Exactly. 5-7, 11-1. Just basically tell everybody you have no idea what they're doing. All right. You have no idea.
Yeah, we literally don't have any idea what Oklahoma's going to be this year.
We don't. But Brent Venables is a proven head coach. He's kind of dealt a tough card, kind of like Billy Napier. But I do think Brent Venables is going to be able to maybe handle that situation a little bit better, a little bit quicker. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I do agree with you. The only question I have about Oklahoma is, why did you go ahead and offer Brent Venables a massive contract extension? I mean, this is going to be his 3rd year as the head coach, and nobody was coming to get Venables.
But I think they wanted to have something structured in place because I think they had an idea that they were moving to the SEC when they made the hire, and then maybe a year afterwards, and they didn't want to have that being a storyline, obviously, with everything else that's going on. But